All right, welcome to this week's Cybersecurity Mentoring Group, where we share, we learn, and we connect. Today's edition promises to be very interesting. Amongst the program that we have lined up today, we have a presentation from one of our mentoring group member, and we work together on it, and I'm sure you will find something to take away as a parent and also as a professional. Running through the way we used to do is that this program or this group was created to help us share, to help us learn, and to help us connect with other like-minded professionals. So we invite people who have gone through some experience in the profession to come share with us and help guide young professionals on the right path to becoming sought after cybersecurity professional. Cybersecurity is not, again, emerging, is a leading industry where we have people whose intention is to cause havoc, and cybersecurity professionals are there to make sure organizations, individuals, and government assets are kept safe and secure. So if you are in that field, you are playing a critical role in the industry to keep information and data about people and about organizations safe and secure. So welcome to today's edition. And some announcement before we go on is that last year, we documented cybersecurity skills, competencies, and certifications that are sought after in the industry. What we did was to collate job adverts on Nigerian's websites, Canada, UK, and the United States. And then we analyzed them to identify the key areas where organizations think they need people in. And then we presented those areas. So as a professional, you know the skills, the competencies, the certifications, the tools that the labor market is looking for. And it can be a guide for you to go get those certifications if you don't have. The second thing is we have cyber researchers. Like today, we'll be listening to Moreni Keji, who will be sharing with us what she has done on data protection. The opportunity for you to volunteer, to take up a topic, and then share with everyone what they can learn from it. The last one is we need cyber scribes. Cyber scribes is a section of the program where we want someone to document the event of the day and then share with everyone at the end of the meeting. That's next edition. It's an opportunity for you to, learn listening skills, taking notes, and then expressing things from your own perspective. I have done the last 2 editions. I'll be sharing another today. So if you are interested and you would like to get cybersecurity mentoring and experience, you can volunteer for any of these opportunities. The sought after cybersecurity skills, competencies, and certification 2nd edition will commence by next week. We've had some volunteers. I will then proceed to put them in group, and we will start collating those jobs and analyze them. Hopefully by September or October, we'll be able to publish the 2nd edition. So if you are interested in any of these opportunities, it will help you to gain cybersecurity experience and mentoring. Right, I will be handing over to our researcher of the week, Moreni Keji. Moreni Keji, if you can hear me, I would then ask you to share your screen and take us through in the next 15 minutes what you have been able to gather and what you want us to learn from the topic. Over to you, Moreni Keji.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So today we'll be looking at, I'll show my screen shortly. Yeah. So we'll be looking at social media privacy policies, or should I say privacy policies of 7 popular social media applications in Nigeria. I will be looking at it from the NDPA perspective. So are they complying to the Nigeria Data Protection Act, or are they not complying? So that's like the whole objective of this research. So table of contents, introduction, general introduction to what data protection is and what the Nigeria Data Protection Act requires. Then we'll be looking at the objective, clarifying it, then the privacy policies, and then recommendations to the social media platform, to data subjects, and also recommendations to data privacy professionals already in the field. So explaining what data protection is, this includes the mechanisms, how you protect data, the tools that you use to protect data, the process that you use to protect data so as to prevent unauthorized access to the personal data that you collect from your customers, from your service providers, from your clients, from your employees, regardless of where and who you're collecting data from. The tools, procedure, processes, mechanisms that you put in place is what data protection is all about. Data protection is first a constitutional right, and you can find this in section 37 of the Nigerian Constitution, whereby the privacy of citizens, their home, their telephone conversations are guaranteed and protected. It's upon this foundation that the Nigeria Data Protection Act was created, and the NDPA is the main data protection law in Nigeria. So the NDPA applies to all personal data that you process, whether online or offline. And the act applies to any company that collects or uses data, whether you are domiciled in Nigeria or you are resident in Nigeria or you operate your business in Nigeria. As long as you're processing, you're collecting, you're using, you're storing personal data of citizens of Nigeria, then the NDPA, the Nigeria Data Protection Act, would apply to you. Moving on. So you've been hearing personal data, personal data. You're wondering, what's personal data? Personal data is any information that can be used to locate you, to identify you, or to contact you. And there are 2 major types of personal data. So we have the general personal data, and then we have the sensitive personal data. So the general personal data, you remember the conversation is used to locate, identify, or contact you. So your name, your address, your phone number, your email address, your bank details, your passport number, your IP address, your date of birth, and all of this information can be used to identify, locate you, or contact you. Now, why sensitive personal data are categorized as such is because they can be used to discriminate against you. So your ethnic origin can be used to discriminate against you. Your political opinions, who you're supporting, whether Labour Party or otherwise, can be used to discriminate against you. Your religious belief, your genetics data, your sexual orientation, your biometric, your health data, all of this information can be used to discriminate against you. Now, as you have rights under the Constitution, the Nigerian Constitution, you also have rights under the Nigeria Data Protection Act, and there are 9 in total. So, number 1, you have the right to withdraw consent. This would be saying further, but in summary, saying that Where processing of personal data is based on consent, the data subject should be able to withdraw their consent at any time. Now, the right of access as a data subject, as somebody that gives somebody your personal data to use, you should be able to ask how and what that data is used for. So, how do you use my data? What do you use it for? How do you store it? I can even ask you to give me a copy of it. So, this is you exercising the right of access. Number three is the right to be informed, and this is where the privacy policy that we'll be speaking about comes under. So, as a data subject, as someone that provides organizations or individuals with personal data, they have a right, or they are obliged to inform you about how they are using that data, how they are going to store that data, um, how they are going to, what they are using it for. You have the right to be informed, and they have the obligation to give you all of this information. You also have a right to ask that any wrong information or any inaccurate information about you be corrected. So, um, if when you open an account with this bank, were married, so you were using your father's name, and maybe you got married afterwards, you have a right to make a request to GTBank to correct and rectify that information in their database. Number five, the right to erasure. You also have a right to ask GTBank to erase the information that they have about you from their database. So, for example, you can ask them to close your account. That's a way to exercise this right to erasure. Now, the right to restrict processing. So you have the right to ask a. So, giving a live example, right? When you opened GTBank, your name is Abiola. But when GTBank was going to open the account, they wrote your name as Biola. And maybe you're somebody that's based on sentiment. You do not like people calling you Biola. You like them calling you Abiola. So you've written series of mail to them asking them to change your name from Biola to Abiola, but they've not done that. You can then restrict processing by telling them to send you or to stop sending you information until they've corrected or rectified that information in their database. So in that case, they have your information, but they cannot use that information to send you anything or any information without your consent. Basically, without them correcting your name from Biola to Abiola. I hope that makes sense. The right to data portability. This is you asking an organization to move the information they have about you to a rival service provider. So GTBank, their network has been terrible of late. So you went to open Fidelity Bank. You can ask GTBank to transfer whatever information they have about you to Fidelity Bank. That is you exercising the right to data portability. Or you can ask them to provide all information that they have about you in a structured, commonly used, and machine readable format. So that is PDF format, Word format, Excel format, and all of that. So those are examples of structured, commonly used, and machine readable formats. Now, the right to object. So a data subject has the right to object if it's based on the following legal justification: for the performance of a task, for the purpose of legitimate interest, or where the personal data is used for direct marketing. So a way to exercise this right to object is you unsubscribing from email sent you. In that case, we'll say that you are exercising this right. The last one is the right in relation to automated decision making and profiling. So we're in the age of AI, and we're in the age of scheduling emails, scheduling everything. So if you do not want an organization to be sending you automatic mails, or if you do not want them to profile you and send you targeted ad, then you can exercise this right by telling them to not do that. Yeah. So I hope all of these explanations are clear. Now, just before we get into the privacy policy part, we should note that the Nigeria Data Protection Act, the age of consent is 13 years. And for all of the social media platforms that we'll be reviewing shortly, they have age of consent between 13 to 16 years. So as parents, ensure that you are monitoring your children's use of social media, especially when they are under 13. So you can, for example, on TikTok, you can enable family pairing. On YouTube, you can enable family link. On, well, LinkedIn, you would have to be all professional before you can join. But all of these ways you measures put in place to monitor your children's use of social media and ensuring that they meet the age requirements and understand the implications of what they are posting or what they are viewing on social media. All right, so just to expatiate, if you look at this case study, you will see that the Information Commissioner's Office in the UK fined TikTok £12.7 million because they allowed children under the age of 13 to use TikTok and they did not obtain parental consent before using these children's data. And based on this, that was where they then put in this security setting on TikTok where parents parents can link to their TikTok account and give TikTok um consent before they join the platform. I hope that makes sense. So the whole objective of this training is one, we are comparing data collection practices of 7 different social media platforms. We're also assessing their compliance with the Nigeria Data Protection Act. And then, like I already said, we will be giving recommendations, practical advices that you can use to protect your privacy and that of your organization as a whole. So, social media platforms I will be reviewing: WhatsApp, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So, privacy policy, like I already said, is any statement that you're making to data subjects that describes to them how that organization collects, uses, retains, and discloses the personal data that they're collecting. So some organizations call it privacy policies, some call it privacy notice, some call it privacy statements, some call it fair processing statements. So whichever title or whichever heading that they give it, all they're just trying to explain to you is this is why we are collecting this personal data, this is how we use it, this is how long we will keep it for, and if we share with other third party, these are the people that we share with. In general, privacy notice, privacy policy should be accessible, clear, and concise. So WhatsApp, there was a case in 2021 where WhatsApp just announced an update to its privacy policy, saying that they want to give sharing rights to their parent company, Meta. And this just brought about wide concerns to data subjects, making people feel like, are we sure that our information is secure? Or can we trust that the encryption process is indeed solid, and this made millions of users switch to alternative messaging applications like Telegram and Signal. If you remember, there was a time that people were really moving to Telegram. It was based on this update to privacy policy at the time, where people did not feel safe about the privacy of whatever they are sharing on the WhatsApp platform. And it was from there that they then um, created the end-to-end encryption that we now enjoy on WhatsApp platform. Then LinkedIn data breach. In 2021, there was a data breach on LinkedIn that exposed over 700 million LinkedIn users. It's exposed their information, their email address, their location, data, their phone numbers, and all that. And a lot of people were skeptical about using LinkedIn because they weren't sure if whatever information that they are putting on the platform is secured. So all of these case studies is just to explain, and it's just to let you know, understand how serious or how um, such a big deal data protection is. Now, according to Section 27 of the Nigeria Data Protection Act, privacy notices, privacy policies, fair processing agreements, or privacy statements, as we already mentioned, must include one, the identity, the residence, or place of business of the company while you are collecting this data. If you are sharing with third party, maybe service providers or maybe other departments within the organization, you have to also state that. You have to also state, or it has to be stated in privacy policy, the rights of the data subject, like I explained when we just started, or how long you'll be keeping this personal data for. You also have to put in the privacy policy that they have a right to lodge a complaint with the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, or any local data protection authority in their countries. But in this case, we're looking at Nigerian Data Protection Act. So yes, with the NDPC. And if you operate automated decision making, or if you profile people and send targeted information to them, you have to include this in your privacy notice. So based on this, we'll be looking at how compliant all of these social media platforms are in meeting the requirements of Section 27 of the Nigeria Data Protection Act. So WhatsApp, they disclosed what they do and the place of their business. Same as LinkedIn. Facebook didn't do that. Instagram did. YouTube did. Twitter did not explain what they are or who they are or what they do and the place of their business, same as TikTok. So they violated, or they are non-compliant with Section 27 1A of the NDPA. Moving to Section 27 1B. So all social media platforms stated why they collect this data. All social media platforms stated that they share this data with third parties, and they expressly stated the names of the third parties that they share this information with. All social media platforms stated the rights of the data subject and told them that they can, or explained or stated that they can always exercise this right. All social media platforms stated a retention period, how long they'll be keeping this personal data for. And all social media platforms except TikTok included in the privacy policy that data subjects have a right to lodge a complaint with the commission or in their local data protection, or with their local data protection authority, in this case, the NDPC. So except for Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, that didn't state their identity or their place of business. And for TikTok, that didn't explain that people had a right to lodge a complaint if they felt like TikTok was not processing their data safely. We can say that most social media platforms were compliant with the requirements of the NDPE. So areas of non-compliance, areas of further non-compliance, data minimization. So Facebook collects data beyond what is necessary for its core service, and this is a problem. TikTok has been criticized for using data collected from users for purposes beyond why it was initially disclosed. And WhatsApp, yeah, like we already said, over its privacy updates, people felt that they were not transparent enough about how and why they are sharing their information with Facebook. So TikTok should include in their privacy the rights of data subject to lodge a complaint, and Facebook X and TikTok should include at the top of their privacy policy who they are, what they do, and their place of business.
Sorry, Morenikeji.
Yeah.
May I ask you to try and see if you can conclude in the next 2 minutes, please?
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry for the time.
No, that's fine. So recommendations, general recommendations to everyone. So one, continually read privacy policies of social media accounts, social media platforms that you are on, so that you know how your data is being used, shared, and stored. Then be mindful of third-party applications that you give access to on your phone, and then understand what data these applications on your phone or on your laptop is collecting, and regularly review the permissions granted to each of these applications. You can also adjust the privacy settings in all of these social media platforms. You can use features like do not track. So Instagram, when you just log in, it will say, do you want allow app to track um, your info on other apps, something like that. So in this case, you can click the do not track. I use this a lot, and whenever you are no longer comfortable with how they use your information, you can always uninstall these applications or withdraw your consent. Yeah. And then be cautious about what personal information that you're sharing on this social media account. Don't put your home address online. Don't put your phone number online and all of this. It just reduces the risk of identity theft and even privacy breaches, where people are then stalking you and making you feel uncomfortable. So for data protection officers, ensure that when you are creating privacy policies, ensure that they are clear and comprehensible, and use the guideline in section 27 of the NDPA in creating your privacy policy. Then carry out regular audits and compliance checks within your organization. Carry out training and awareness of your staffs from time to time, maybe quarterly or biannually, and then implement robust data security measures within your organization. So examples, encryption, password manager, and all of that. Just ensure that you have data security measures within your organization. Thank you very much. I hope this has been helpful. Over to you, Mr. Wale.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. I really enjoyed the session. Thank you. I would then proceed to our session. Our speaker has joined, and I think I can take it off from here. Thank you, Moren. Thank you very much, Moren. All right. Going on for today, in our usual practice, we like to go over the last edition, and it's just to recap on what we learned from the last speaker. So we had Fumilola. Fumilola took us on how we can become a sought-after cybersecurity professional. And Fumilola's background is in system engineering. She studied system engineering She holds an MBA from Imperial College Business School. And we asked her about what drove her or what made her choose cybersecurity. She said it was this curiosity. In fact, the illustration she gave us was that she heard that with cybersecurity, you can get access to people's system, and that excited her. And that's why she got interested in the area. But her primary role when she was working in the organization was IT audit. So she then said that they were trying to form cybersecurity team in the organization, and she then volunteered to be a cybersecurity um, officer. And at that time, she was also still working as an IT auditor. So it was her curiosity for cybersecurity that made her to volunteer. So at daytime, she said she was an IT auditor, but in the night or at every other time, she was working as a volunteer cybersecurity officer. Then we requested what are the sought after skills. Top on our scale is on our list is you must be very inquisitive and then passionate. You must be able to persevere. And in fact, she told us that most of the things we see in movies where cybersecurity professionals hack into a system and it looks like it happened in 2 minutes or 1 minute, that they are just movies, right? That really you need to persevere if you are in cybersecurity. Your ability to solve problems, problem solving skills is very, very important. And foundational among them is your ability to understand technology. In fact, cybersecurity is sweeter or better with a good understanding of technology. Then, being around the right people, she said, is one of the things that you need to incorporate into your development. I think I picked out that you are the average of the top 5 people you speak with. So count the number of people that you speak with. If you are married, your spouse and maybe your children and the 3 of your friends, you are the average of all of them. Then she advised everyone, if you are a security professional, join ISACA or any other cyber security group, any information security group, join them and be sure to also volunteer. We asked about the learning opportunities that are available today. There are a lot of them, but she mentioned Udemy, O'Reilly, YouTube, conferences, podcast. This engagement today is a learning opportunity. One particular thing also we asked is we see a lot of vacancies in cybersecurity. In fact, we see countries that have published cybersecurity on their shortage skill list. And she was saying that, yeah, there are vacancies for cybersecurity professionals almost everywhere and in every industry. However, they're looking for professionals with experience. And most of the people that are looking for cybersecurity role today, they are in quotes, not very experienced. So what you need to do is to find opportunity to gain experience. And that makes that opportunity accessible and available to you. Our final words was, make sure you add value to yourself, write certifications. And she said, certification is one way to prove that you know what you say you know. And today, thankfully, we'll be dealing with certification. Continue learning, start volunteering, and get yourself a mentor. So that was the summary of our engagement with Lola. And today, before we go to today's speaker, we had invited this number of people so far, and it's been very, very interesting. And I will be uploading, hopefully this week, I should be able to upload all of the sessions that we have had so that if you want to go look at them, you can find them on the YouTube. I'll share the link up in the next session, but this between now and next session, I'll create a page for it. Okay, so today, let me first do some paparazzi. Please welcome Michael, and I need you to use your emojis, whichever one you love. Let's give our love to Michael for joining us. I reached out to him first time, and all he said is, "Wale, I'm ready for this." So we don't have to chase Mike, we didn't chase him for any long time. I just approached him and he was happy to do this for us. So please, if you can use your emoji so that Michael knows that you guys are waiting and are ready to have him today. You can use the emoji to welcome him. Michael, welcome, and thank you for honoring my invitation. And I think I'll just provide an intro to Michael. I worked together sometime, I can't remember now. Michael was our consultant, and I really enjoyed how Michael was able to help us achieve our objective, which is at that time to achieve one of the certifications in the ISOs. So Michael studied computer science from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and also a master's degree from Caleb University. I don't have to go through all of these certifications, but Michael has one of the top certifications. In fact, from our last studies of cybersecurity certifications, Michael has one of them, which is number one on that list. And PCB, ISO standards, ISO Council, what exactly excited Efumi, ethical hacking. Michael is also certified in it. Michael has expertise in cybersecurity strategy, audit, vulnerability management, IT risk management, and management consulting. Michael, if you can hear me, you can unmute and let's have you introduce yourself in as simple and short as possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Wale, and thank you for having me. I think we've done a summary of what I would also do, right? So I'll just keep it simple, right? I'm Michael Uji, and I've been in this space for almost a decade, and been supporting organization in the use and adoption of global best practice standards and frameworks. My experience cuts across the industry and consulting also. I started off as an IT support in one of the banks, and then I delved into consulting and then back to the industry. And so maybe in the course of the question and answer section, I would, my story would come in between, and then would have a nice time. Thank you once again for having
All right.
me.
Thank you so much, Michael. Now, usually my first questions around the motivation, the journey into cybersecurity. Is there something that you would like to let us know how you made your way into cybersecurity? Was it a first job? Was it a second? Was it just by providence or by curiosity? How did you get into the cybersecurity space?
Okay, so when you mentioned curiosity, I remember this popular program, Curiosity made me ask. Okay, so like I rightly mentioned, so I did national diploma before I went in for my BSc program, and I did a project, my ND project at the time. If you understand the way the polytechnic system is, at ND you also write a project. When you come back for HND, you write a project also. So my supervisor gave me a topic, evaluation of law enforcement agency against cybercrime. I've never heard about cybercrime. Really not, we just know anything crime, right? So that's all we know about. So I schooled in a Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti at the time. So I had to come to Lagos. I went to Panti. I went to police headquarters here in Lagos. I went to EFCC's office trying to gather information, and all that. And so when I got an opportunity to work with a bank as an IT support, I saw some guys who were, when I did my findings, they said they were the security guys, they are protecting the bank, and all that. And I remembered the fact that I did an ND program. So I've always, that already, gave me that interest in cybersecurity and all that. So from that point, I started making my way to enter into that department, right? I moved left, right, and center, trying to convince my line managers that I want to move from IT support to information security. They're always shutting it down. And then somebody just told me, said, if you really want to move to cybersecurity, go and do professional exam. And this was 2009. I was like, really? I should go and do professional exam and all that. So he gave me a name, Right Test Consulting, somewhere around the Lopeju. So I'm not doing advert for anybody, but that's where I did the training, right? So, and I was confused. So at this time, I had no certification before now. And I'm just a rookie. So attending CISSP training at the time was mind-blowing and all that. 10 domains, it was a lot. And that was where the journey started. So I read the material, Sean Harris, those of you that knows about CSSP. I read Sean Harris. I think I've read CSSP material more than 3 times back to back. Unfortunately, I still didn't write the exam, and all that. So my always reading the material to, give me that opportunity. And I kept pushing until one day I wrote season. And then when I wrote season, I went back to my boss again and said, sir, I want to go to security. I don't want to do what I'm doing. And at this point, he says, okay, after writing this season exam, right, I can release you to go. And that was how I was redeployed, from the department that I was at the time to enterprise security at Access Bank. So that was how the journey started.
Wow, I love this, your motivation, as you did not rest and you provided something for him to take, because I mean, if somebody has already done season, I'm sure the department you went to, maybe some of them don't even have season. So it was actually a good one.
In fact, so when I got in there, that was CISA. I wrote CISA first. Sorry to correct that. So I got in there. I passed CISA, and I till when I got in there. And the head of the department, Emmanuel Ibrahim, right, fantastic man, right. He didn't even look at my status then as a support staff at the time and contract staff in the bank. And he told me, he said, yes, we welcome you if your boss release you. So the team member that were there, when I met one of them and the guy says, are you sure they will take you? I know that. I said, I've passed I told him that I was preparing for season. So since 2012, I made it a point of duty to write at least one professional certificate every year. So I'd written in 2012 ITIL, 2013 CISA, and then in 2014, I want to come into information enterprise IT security. And the young man was telling me, you can't come. I said, I'm preparing for season. He said, you will not pass CSMO. I now told him that I just passed CISA just a few months back. Then he was surprised, like, you just passed CISA. And of course, I wrote CSM the following year and I passed.
Congrats. you actually went for it. You did not, you were not just motivated, but you showed evidence. Thank you for that inspiring story. Now, the question is, I think your example is the example you just shared really introduce the next question I want to ask, and it's around the importance of certification. Again, why is this important, if at all certification is important? Why do you think certification is important?
Okay, so so I would deliberately I really didn't do some form of preparation for this because I wanted to tell my story, right? I didn't want to go and extract information, from everywhere and all that, because I can resonate well with my own story, right? When you submit your CV, right, you don't have an opportunity to convince the employer that you are fit for the job. The first thing they see is, what has he done before? Where has he worked? What skills does he have, right? The first thing they want to see is on your CV, right? And if they see that you have professional certifications, right, it gives them comfort and say, okay, I think for this person to have passed this exam, then it tells us that he or she has the experience. And I'll give a case in point. So my first consulting job, and I'll mention the name, please permit me, Digital Jewels. Okay, that was my second, right? So at Digital Jewels, I'd done the interview, and I wasn't called after 2-3 months. And I kept asking the HR, he kept pushing it and all that. Finally, I was called for the second stage. And when I got there at the second stage, timid, very scared. I had always wanted to work at Digital Jewels at the time. And then the MD was in the panel, and the MD, so while I was introducing myself, I said, I've done IT, because my experience was showing ATM engineer, IT support, and things that do not relate with cybersecurity, information security. And here is this guy coming in for a cybersecurity role and all that. So they were struggling to see how I fit in for the role and all that, because everything was ATM engineering, WinCore, NCRU, and other POS machine and all that. So, and I got to a point where I said, I've passed the ITU, and I've, of course, also passed CISA. I've done my season passed, and of course, also I'm a certified ethical hacker. At that point, she paused. He said, "You did all these exams?" I said, "Yes." He said, "How come?" I said, "Passion," and all that. And it's at that point, we're about 4 that came in for the job. I was the only one that waited. They asked others to go, and they gave me an offer that same day. So the point is, even without experience, they saw the certifications that I have done, which is enough to show that I am passionate, to do this. And so oftentimes when people come to meet me and says, "Oh, I'm interested in cybersecurity, I want to do cybersecurity," the question I ask is, what have you done before now, right? I saw some of the things that Fumi mentioned. Right? Have you taken free courses on Udemy? Right? Some people would say, "Oh, there is no money. Dollar price has gone up and all that." And I always say, whenever there is a will, there must be a way. Right? I was earning very peanut. Right? I do a job. Right? I'll do a job. I will pack all that money. I'll go and write professional certification body. So it will create doors actually, because once they see that, they can begin to look at, okay, if he has the tendency to learn, even without experience, if he's teachable, right, with what he has done, with a little push, he can swim and he will not sink.
Wow, Michael, your story is quite inspiring, and I'm really learning a lot. In fact, um, the example you gave us is exactly what I was hoping that I would hear. And thank you so much for sharing part of your story. And I know Digital Jewel, they helped a lot of. In fact, there's no organization in Nigeria, there's no bank, let me put it that way, that Digital Jewel has not gone into and facilitated a lot. And I think maybe 2 or 3 people that I've invited on this program also have history with Digital Jewel. So
exactly.
Digital Jewel
We
is
also started off from
yes. Digital Jewel is a foundational indigenous Nigerian security organization. So if you're lucky to find yourself there, you at least have reference from people like Michael. Now, I think you've already touched on the next question that I would like to ask, and it's about certifications and hiring decisions. So maybe you want to expatiate a little more. If you go for an interview, what does certification do to you? So first is around hiring decision. How does it impact or affect hiring decision? And secondly, how does certification impact on career progression?
I would say a lot, right? Because it shows that you're a subject matter expert in that field, right? So I give a story about how I was hired, right? Based on the certifications that I have done, right? And I think also that certification also helps you to build confidence, right? Because these are exams that people have failed over and over again, right? And they are not making it through. Forget when you come to LinkedIn, you see somebody who says, "Oh, I just passed CISA. I just passed season." Some of them would have failed it 2 or 3 times before coming to share the testimony of the 4th times that they passed it and all that. So I think also that certification builds your confidence. I remember the first conference that I had the opportunity to be a keynote speaker somewhere, NACOS event at Ibadan. It was a regional NACOS event and all that. I got in there very fearful, and but immediately I started introducing myself. And I said, I have ITIL, I'm a certified information security systems auditor, I'm certified information security manager, I'm certified ethical hacker, I am ISO 27000 analyst. Everywhere started shouting, "Hey, hey, hey, ha, ha." That hey, ha, ha built up my confidence. And by the time I picked it up, it was a nice experience. So I think also that it builds your confidence when you speak. Also, because passing these exams is not, you need to burn the midnight candle, right? It's not like other exams where you just do a little and then you go into the exam and you pass. And also it gives you that confidence as you face the employers or the committee interviewing you, you'll be able to, you know, speak to things that they are asking you of. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wanted to ask about the career progression. What is certification likely to do for someone
Okay.
who wants to progress in his career? What will certification do for that person?
Okay, it will open an amazing doors, right? And I will say this, even though I don't like to say it, right? Immediately I got in my CISA and season, I didn't spend 3 months at Access Bank afterwards. I got another offer, right? And the following year, I got CH. I didn't spend 1 year in that company. I got another offer, right? And when I got into that company, I told myself, okay, I really want to learn. So I stayed for 3 years to learn, right? But immediately I achieved that SLA of 3 years, I got another offer, right? And of course, it's easier to believe that I have the skills, even though some of these roles, I did not really have hands-on, right? But because I've done professional certification, I could speak to those areas. And when I get to interview, sometimes when they are asking me questions, I speak to the things I have read, the things I know, because I always know that if you give me the job, I will learn on the job and I will do it, right? I don't say no to any responsibility. And of course, I got to that job. I didn't spend 1 year. I got another job, right? And then where I stayed, I was leading a team. You know, I did another 2 years. I got another job. Right. I got to the bank again. After 3-4 months, one of the big fours came for me. I moved to the big four. Right. And while I was at the big four, I had several offers, you know, and all that. I got another job. So it would definitely open. And I would say in the last 7, 8 years, it's been sorry, excuse me. In the last 6, 7 years, it's been
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks. Opportunities and opportunities and opportunities. So it will definitely create doors, you know, for career progression. And of course, as I have shown you, you know what that means. As I move from company A to company B, is more money, higher grade. From company C to company D, more money, higher grade. And we are here today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very exciting stories. My next question is around, so from my understanding, there's a lot of certifications, a lot, right? Does one certification fit all area, or people that would like to be certified, how should they go about that journey of being certified?
Okay, so I would say the direct answer is no, right? Even though some certifications have legs into different areas. For example, the CISA certification is specifically for IT auditors, right? However, with your CISA, you can get an IT risk job, right? You could also get an information security job. But if you really want to have several options, right? Several opportunities, right? I would advise that the particular area that fitting into that the particular certification that fits into that area, you go for it. For example, I can work in any company as an IT auditor, as an IT auditor with my CISA, as an information security officer with my CISM, as a penetration tester with my certified ethical hacking certificate, CH, as an IT governance with my ITU, as a data protection manager with my certified data protection solution engineer by ISACA, as a GRC officer with my ISO 27001 lead auditor, lead implementer, and ISO 22301 lead auditor, right? You see that I have written this certificate to position me. So any job that you're advertising, right, that is within cybersecurity, governance, compliance, risk, you know, I can always, because there are certification for each of these areas.
Thank you. That's very, very direct. I think your certifications here is quite broad. And it actually touched on almost all the areas of cybersecurity. Now, coming to certifications, from your personal experience, what were the challenges you faced, and what are the general challenges about certifications, and how do you think the present day professionals can overcome those challenges?
Okay, so it's even worse now, right? Fund is actually the biggest issue, right? I remember back then, gathering the money was very difficult to write these exams, right? But I needed to change the story, right? Coming from a humble background, I knew that pity will not solve anything, right? So I have to do the extraordinary to change the story. And so I was deliberate. So when others were using boot 5, right, and the Blackberries of this world, I invested more in certifications, and I never used any of the BlackBerry, even when my peers were using BlackBerry. So the point I'm making is, if you have the money to buy BlackBerry, buy. Right? If you have money to buy the iPhones of this world, please buy. Right? But spend that money in certification exams. As at today, tell me what is the highest phone in this world. Mention it. I can buy it. Right? I may not have money to buy a Range Rover today, right? But I can buy a car that will take me from point A to point B today, right? So, and that's because I have invested in my future, right? So the fund is there. That's one of the challenges. The point I'm making is that don't allow the dollar exchange rates, right, to limit you from writing this exam. So fund is a big issue, right? A very big issue. I know about that, but you can plan for it like I did, right? I will gather my friends. Let's do a job, right? We'll do a job. They don't know what I was doing, and I'll be the coordinator. The day I will pack my own, I'll go and pay for professional exams. Do it again the following year. And I think up to 4 years, that was what I did to write those professional exams. So I think it's around fund. The second thing also is, the other challenge is, if you don't stay among people of like minds, right, they tend to also drag you back and all that. And so if you really want to build your career around, GRC, IT, audit, data protection and all that, you must be. So when you are far away from the people who are within this space, right, you may never get to where you want to go. I think those are some of the things that are top. I think the thing is around fund. If you are passionate, you need to be passionate. So that's not even a challenge in itself, right? It's something that you need to have. But I think the big challenge as at today that I know of, right, is the exchange rate dollar to Naira. But like I would still say, right, you see that I'm struggling a way to make excuses, right? That's why I'm not answering the question directly, broadly. Whenever there is a will, there must be a way. It doesn't matter how much you are collecting now. Come and tell me that, sir, my salary is just 50,000 naira. When will I save money to be able to write the exam? Again, listen, whenever there is a will, there will be a way. You will begin to think out of the box. How do I raise the money? Just like I did during my own time. The money was not there. I didn't have any sponsor, right? But I made up my mind that I want to do these exams, right? Do you know what it takes you to save 100,000 back then in 2013, right? You do a job for almost 1 year, 10,000 naira. And by the time you take the 10,000 naira from your salary already, you're already grinding, right? Because it is the salary is not enough, right? You now take 10,000 naira for a job, right? And you know that if you don't prepare for the exam, if you fail, or what you will go, they speaking that is thing, So you just need to, find a way
OT law.
yeah, OT law, exactly. Another, but God was faithful. I never failed any of these exams. As I write
Thank you.
it, I pass it.
Thank you. I think I even when I was also preparing for my CSM, so I wrote CSM in 2012. I remember that I had to save for maybe 3 months to be able to write my CSM. And one thing also I have seen about certification, because it is dollar denominated, if you don't write it now, it's not going to be cheaper. In fact, let me digress. One of my mentees wanted to get married before the election, wanted to get married in 2012. So we're planning, and he said, I need to do this. I need to do this thing before powers change hands. And he was thinking about the election, actually. And look at where things are today. So if he had postponed the marriage, and he says I'll marry next year or something. And the same thing with certifications. Certifications, because it is dollar denominated, it is unlikely to come cheaper. I wrote mine. I spent about maybe a little above 100,000. No, maybe going to 200,000. I can't remember. So is that insignificant now? Because at that time, dollar was about maybe 120 or 30 naira. The 120 naira or 30 naira to a dollar. And the exam was actually around $545. That exam has not changed beyond maybe $600 or so now, season. Maybe if you're a new member, maybe about $700. But can you take that $700 and multiply it with the Naira equivalent today? In fact, when we did the calculation 2 months or 3 months ago, it wasn't less than 1 million. So it will not be cheaper. Again, acknowledging that is not cheap, but it will not be cheaper. So I like the idea that you can save up. And I tell people, I said, if you borrow to read that for exam, you won't fail because you're under double pressure. The pressure of the money, and also that you don't want to fail and go and
Wale,
repeat it.
let me also respond to what you just said, right? So my sister exam, actually, a friend borrowed me 44,000 naira, right? And I added 50,000 naira to it. Now, as at the time he was giving me the 44,000, she sounded like she's trying to support me to grow. I didn't know that it was a loan, right? So after writing the exams, 3-4 weeks after, she called me and said, when am I paying her money? And I was like, hey, Lord, let me pass. So I know, but again, because I knew that money cannot waste, I had to read for the exam. So it's also, I resonate with what you have said, that if you borrow money to write the exam, you want to read because you will pay back. If you will pay back, if you fail, you will pay back and still save another money again to write the same exam.
Yeah. I also like the idea that if you want to write an exam, you need to stay with people of like mind. That ability to share thoughts with people who are in your area. There are people that don't find value in certifications or find value in even reading. They will call you names. It is for your own good that you stay away from those people, right? When you want to play, you can go and look for them and play with them. But if you know the future that is before you and where you are going, is not something you can joke with. Like I said, if you don't write it now, or if you don't borrow to write it now, right, it's not going to be cheaper.
Yes,
if you didn't write it last year, maybe this is the best time to prepare to write it. Exactly. Next year, it is unlikely to be cheaper. All right, thank you. My next point. So people desire to write certifications, but are there free certification opportunity? Are there so I know there are proprietary certification, there are non-proprietary certification. Maybe if you want to speak to those kind of certifications, and are there free certifications that people can put their leg in the door through those opportunities?
Okay, so there are free certifications, right? I know that some proprietary certifications like Microsoft, Google Suite, Google Cloud, AWS, they have free certifications for those of us who want to build capacity in cloud computing and all that. Recently also ICS Square, the owners of CISSP and then CSCP, Cloud Security Certified Professionals, and other, they are also doing some free certifications, which is the certified in cybersecurity, CC, right? It's just giving you foundation, right? So there are free certifications, but the ones that will open bigger doors are not free, right? And I always tell people, no pain, no gain. So if you are waiting for the free certifications, you may never get those ones for free, right? Except you have, recently I saw a training school, right? Who they were trying to do a campaign, and they were like, they would do a raffle draw. The best 3 will be given free exams to write CISSP, except in those cases. But from the provider of the exams, there are no free certifications. So but again, it's always good to start from the ones that are free. At least it gives you some comfort. I know somebody who wrote the ICS squares cybersecurity, certified in cybersecurity, and was moved from quality assurance to cybersecurity department because the CISO of the organization said, you've done this CISO, okay, at least you have foundational knowledge, you can come and then you can build from. So you can write those free ones, right, while waiting for, funds, to write the other paid exams. But I would encourage that go for the ones that because those are the ones that are globally recognized. The CISSP, the Certified Ethical Hacking, the CISA, the CSMs, and all. Yeah.
Thanks, Michael. Now, I think we are getting to the last section of a program. So we've had people who are not cybersecurity professionals that have joined the sessions in the past, and I believe some of them are also on the call. And some of them want to really transition from whatever they are doing right now to cybersecurity. In fact, I've seen a question that when we come to a question and answer section, I will read it out. It's from a non-technical person who is asking question around cybersecurity. Now, there are people that want to transition into cybersecurity role. Where do you think they can start that journey? Maybe if you have any experience of people who have done that, or any experience you can share from your own area, I would like to learn from it.
Okay, so I think wherever you are working, you can now start from there. Right, and all you need to do is to take. So the Fumi story also is a good point to take. She was in IT audit. It was an opportunity to volunteer as a cybersecurity. She keyed into it. Right, when it was time to come in fully, she came in fully, right? So by way of disclosure, Fumi was my boss at Deloitte, before I left Deloitte, and she rose to the role of a partner, at Deloitte. So she's currently a partner, at Deloitte. So, and that tells you, right, where she was, she switched over and she rose through the rank, and she today is a partner at Deloitte, right? So you can start from where you are, right? Some way of volunteering and all that. Again, also, right? And permit me also, I don't know how long we still have to share this story also, how.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, how I did mine, right? So I told us, I was an IT support ATM engineer, right? That's how I started, right? Now, when I needed to make a move, right, I reached out to a particular company now, and I told the person, I do not mind taking an internship role at little or no cost. Now, by this time, I had a paid job that I was doing, and it wasn't like it was paying, right? And I was already in my late 20s. So sending that mail, within 10 minutes, the MD of the company sent me a mail to send my CV. And then they told me I was earning, I think, around 70,000 naira at the time. And the MD said, the interviewers, they told me that they only pay me 30,000 naira after 6 months. If they see that I am fit for the job and all that, then they can now regularize my salary. And I said, let's do it. So, mind you, I've collected salary for 7 years, every on the 22nd of every month, no stop. Like I'm used to collecting salary already by this time, right? I have free staff bus that takes me to VI and brings me back to the mainland and all that. But because I was passionate, right? I wanted to do this. And they gave me an offer later. But you see, that's where passion speaks and where favor also speaks. When they gave me an offer, the man matched my salary, right? Now, and that was just favor. So the point is I was ready to start afresh. I've seen guys who have come to meet me and say, want to do this. I says, can you take a pay cut? They say, no, sir. In this Tinubu economy, in this Buhari economy, take pay cuts. Can you match what I'm currently taking? And I'm saying, are you sure you want to do cybersecurity? You don't have experience. You are looking for experience. And you want to still earn the same salary that you are earning for the other role that has no connection to cybersecurity. So your willingness to be able to start from the scratch, right? Not everybody will be lucky to get a banking job that they will push you straight to cybersecurity, or get a cybersecurity organization that will just take you and they are willing to train you, and all. So you can take on volunteering job. You can take it up even from where you are working, right? If there is no security department, you can start practicing security from there, right? Discussing with the IT manager and say, oh, we can do this based on the things you are reading and all that. And then write to organizations. If you know people say, I don't mind to come in to start afresh, right? Yes, I will not tell some people to just leave their jobs completely and then have no money and be struggling and all that and all, right? So you could say, can I do this volunteering in your company 2 or 3 times in a week, and all that, for those of you that have flexible work mode, and all that. But again, if you are passionate, right, you always find a way. So one of the things I also did was that I joined ISACA, right? And my joining ISACA, right, gave me my first breakthrough job, right? Because there was an email from ISACA Lagos chapter saying there is an opening in this organization, apply, right? Because I was already amongst the people that they are already in the field. I joined a professional body, right? Mind you, these professional bodies, they are not free. So the least you can do also is to join a professional certification body, and you will get notifications when there are openings, right, in the various companies. And I put in for the application and I got the job. So so those are the things that I have done on my own, right? Reaching out to companies, they gave me an opportunity to come in as an intern, joining the professional certification body, and of course got advert on in a bank, and then I made that move.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. This experience are quite is really a good story. So I think I would like to share something very similar to your experience, where I was actually working in Glow, and I think one of the skills I got in my first job was Excel. And today I could use Excel very well, because in that first role, I was part of the team that was the project was to give all federal government and state government employees SIM card, Glow SIM card. So we would travel to the states, get their record, come back, and prepare a directory for their SIMs, so that somebody can, the head of the department can be in his office and has a directory of everybody, like a yellow page of some sort. I was doing that, very good at it. I traveled to different states on that. So, and I will go to, at the end of the month, I will go to IT to go get data and to analyze. And one day I was in the office of the CIO, and I told him, I said, I love your job, and I would like to join you if there's opportunity. So he looked at me and said, the job is difficult, but if you are interested, there will be the application, you can apply. So truthfully, advert came out. So my mind was on data, a database, telecoms database. So when the advert came out, it was support, IT help desk. And I said, well, me, IT help desk, God forbid. So I didn't apply. But I don't know. I just so I told one of my friends in the office, I said, this job came out, so I didn't apply. So why now? And I said, somebody actually called me from HR that, did I see the vacancy? Because the man went to ask. I said, did Wale apply? He said, Wale did not apply. So they now called me from HR and said, Wale, did you see the vacancy? I said, I saw it. It's not something I'm looking forward to. I said, okay. So I told my friend, God bless you. God bless you. I said, I call him brother man. I said, brother man, this is what I said. Wale, let's go. So he's full. He said, let's go to HR. So we went from my office in Adeolodeku, strolled down to HR. So I went to the HR room. I said, I would like to apply. He looked at me like this. Are you normal? But I just called you. I said, yes. So as we're talking, the man just walked past us. So I think she saw the man, saw me, and somehow she just said, okay, what is your name? She looked at my name, said, how many certifications do you have? I said, I don't have any. She said, huh? So the way she was typing on the keyboard, I knew that this woman is really very angry. But so he just said, your interview is in 30 minutes. I said, wow. So apparently people are already waiting for the interview. So I joined them. I sat down. And they needed 6 people for help desk. And I went in, I told them what I could do. And what I could do was that when I was in university, I could assemble and disassemble computer. So I could put computers. I had done networking when I was in school. My holidays were what I did with the holiday, look for money to go for computer training and the rest. So when I went for the interview and I told them what I could do, they picked 7 people. Now, I didn't have anybody in HR, so words got out that they picked 7 people. Now, there's a guy that did better than everybody, so they are taking him and putting him in network. That was how they took me out. So because of me, someone else got into the pool. So they took me out from help desk and put me in networking without certification. But the day I stepped my foot in IT, it was IS in Glow. The day I set my feet in IS, I started CCNA. And within a month, I completed CCNA and I took my certificate to my boss. And I said, see, I've done. He said, wow, this is impressive. Blah, 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 blah. Then I started with MCSA and I completed MCSA. And then the opportunity came for me for for information security. And the guy said, it's me that he wants. And that was how. So I think that people should. So if you have an opportunity for a leg in the door, don't be like me that wanted to miss that opportunity. And today, when I sit down and think about that woman, I said, thank God for that woman that really gave me that opportunity. And that man that actually called and find out if I had applied. So yeah, it's an experience. I know that it could be very challenging. The story is to motivate and encourage you to say, if you really want these things, pay cut is a pay cut. It will pass.
It's
temporary. And if you really are committed to the field, it will pay off. All right. I think I'll go into the question and answer section. I have learned a lot from the motivations from this section, and I will read first the first question that is on my chart here is that what is the place of a legal practitioner in the cybersecurity space? And that same question says, what cybersecurity certifications can a legal practitioner do? That's the question.
Okay, so interestingly, I have one of my my former colleague, I'll call her my former colleague, who did the 15-minute presentation earlier on, who is a legal officer, right? And someone that really inspires me, and when I have to talk, I says, Dina, I call her Dina is an example, right? She's a legal officer and wanted a switch. And today she gave us a presentation on data protection. And she's doing a master's here in the UK in data, something relating to data protection and all that. So for legal officers, you would fit in easily in the data privacy, data protection space and all that, right? So whilst your legal background will give you more comfort in privacy, all you need to do is write ISO 27001 to give you the protection part, and you become a data privacy and protection, and you do not need any technical experience to write the ISO 27001 lead implementer to become a full data privacy and data protection officer, right? I think that's there's a second part to the question. I think I've answered how a legal officer can switch. What was the second part?
You have answered. Yeah, I think you have answered both. I think the first question is, how a legal professional, a practitioner what is the space? What do they have in cybersecurity? And second one is the certifications they can write. I think you have answered the question.
Yeah,
I think,
GDPR exam,
yeah,
Certified Data Protection Officer, ISO 27001, and
yeah.
you can write the CEH, right? And that's one of the beauty about cybersecurity, right? Even with no educational experience, right? You can take professional exams and you acquire those skills.
I love CH. When I was around 2000 and I'm not that old though, but I would just say around 2008 or 9 when I was practicing CH. CH is so practical, as in you can basically on your laptop be testing those things that they have that you need to know. So CH is very good if you are interested in that area. All right, I'll go to the next question, which is what can I do differently to get an internship as a certified ethical hacker since 2022? This is a direct question. So the person who wants to know, I think the person is certified and has been certified in CEH since 2022, and is saying, what can I do as a certified ethical hacker since 2022 to get an internship opportunity?
So I think I've said some things before, right? Join professional bodies, right? Stay around them. You will get news. You cannot have CH and you're looking for a job. Not in this industry. It's not possible. You can't have CH and you know it, and you are even looking for internship, not even full-time job. It's not possible. In fact, many people will take you. They say, "It's internship. Come and do it." Right? Because not even everybody with 5 years experience have been able to pass CH. So you without experience, you are able to pass CH by way of practice and discipline. You get the opportunity, right? So it's either you want to stay in Ikoyi and you are staying in Majangbadi, right? Or so if you want to stay in Ikoyi, at least you will come close to Yaba, right? Because from Yaba, Adekule, you will hear CMS, 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 CMS. But if you're in Ajangbadi, you may never hear, the next thing you will hear is first is Oshodi, right? And before Oshodi, you now so you need to be around guys, and there are a lot of professional certifications body. There's ICS Square, right? I think it's Nigerian chapter, right? So you can reach out to me. I can give you the what's it called? The admin's contact to join that group, right? There's also Telegram ISACA, and there's Telegram, there's WhatsApp ISACA. So you can join those groups. You can also write to companies that would need your services, especially consulting companies, right? You can send a mail. See, that contact us that they have there can give you your job. Contact us has given me job before. I just went there and says, I am passionate in cybersecurity and all that. I have done CSIM, I've done CISA, I've done IT, and I'm looking for opportunities. And in 10 minutes, the MD of the company asked me to send my CV. And in 2 weeks, I got my offer letter. And I'm not even as an intern, right? As a full staff, right? Because of the skills and all that. So write to organizations, right? And don't be discouraged when you get a no, right? Keep writing, keep sending. One will eventually, and all you need is to just get the first one. Once you get that first one, the second one will come, the third one will come, the fourth one will come.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that. I think also last time we had Fumi. Fumi was ISACA president, and she mentioned that you don't actually need to have passed certification before you can join them. Exactly. So you can join as a ordinary member and then observe. And when you join, you are likely to be added to the database. Today I still get email of opportunities or people that are looking for professionals who have, and sometimes if I'm a professional, I can go to my professional association because there's a level of understanding of the industry that they have. Instead of putting job vacancies out where anybody can apply, if I go to my professional body, I know the people that will apply are people already in the space.
Exactly.
And like the example you gave, which is you by yourself, consulting firm are looking for people with that experience. and you can just put up your CV and just send it to them, or contact them that you have this certification and experience and you're looking for opportunity. And I'm sure, but reach out to me. I can connect you with Michael so that you can get the contacts for ISC2 body. The last question here, I don't have any other question. The last one is, okay, another one has joined, but we will wrap up in about 5 minutes. The next question is someone in the health sector, nursing. So the person has a nursing background and is saying, how can I switch? So if I want to switch to cybersecurity, is there a place for someone with this experience or background?
Yeah, so there is actually, right? The nursing space also, they collect PII, right? In fact, I would even say that industry is even more sensitive, right? Because of the kind of personal information they collect, the medical records of their patients, and all that. So you can be looking at data privacy also. But again, the big question I like to ask again is, what is driving you? I have a nursing friend who says, Mike, I want to switch. There is plenty money in cybersecurity. I want to come and make money. And I said, if that's your driving force, you may never get it right to another too. Is this something you love to do, right? There are many persons many people would say, I want to do this thing. By the time you give them ICS square, they can't even finish it in 6 months because nothing. They don't have passion. It's money. They want to be. They are forgotten that they will first of all, learn the rudiments, right, before they begin to make money. Some of us that God has helped us thus far. It's not the first day that we got our first job or wrote these exams that we started getting the real money. It took years, right? As in many years before it happened. So if your motive is because of the money that you will get, if you eventually even pass the exam and after 1 or 2 years you don't get it, right, you may even run away and all that. But be sure that you are really deeply interested in cybersecurity, and regardless of your education, there's a difference between education and professional certification. Regardless of your education, you can pick up anything, right? First of all, I encourage you to do your own study. There are different areas in the cybersecurity space, right? So you may want to do security engineering, security defense, security offense, and all that. If you have done your own due diligence, you can then now engage someone with experience who will then begin to guide you as to, okay, what have you done? And what I recommend, if you come and meet me, the first thing I tell you to go and do is go and do research on cybersecurity. What are the different aspects of cybersecurity, right? What do you understand by it? Which one do you appreciate? Which one speaks to what you think you can do easily, right? And then we can then pick it up from there. But it's important that you first of all do your homework, look at the various areas, which one interests you first. Then you can talk to a mentor who can then begin to guide you into the particular area that you have chosen.
Thank you, Michael. I think the last question I have here is someone, the question is coming, but okay, let me ask the last question. It will be the last, so please, if you have any other question, you can put it, but I would just take that one offline. The last question is on someone who is Oracle Database Certified, OCA, Oracle Certified Associate, and is saying, which of the security certification can I go for first? That's the last question. Okay. I will attend to the other one on nursing.
Okay, so there's cybersecurity control, there's like IT control, right? If you understand the database very, very well, right, you can do IT control, right? That will be reviewing the security, the controls around the database. So a typical exam you can do can be CISA, can be C-risk, right? It can also be CISM, right? You can also do CISSP, right? You can do the cloud exams also by ISC square and all that, right? So there are different exams. Actually, it depends on the area. Now, if you want to do database reviews, CISA, control reviews, you can do CRISC, right, by ISACA, right? If you want to do actual protection of this system, CISSP season, right, you can go into those other areas and all that. But again, one exam may not give you but you can start from somewhere, right? So CISA, CSM, CRISC, CISSP will be good to have.
Thank you. The last question here is the person that asks on nursing says, I am due to start my PhD in nursing, and I just want to, I think the person liked the idea of cybersecurity. And Michael already mentioned PII. In some countries, you will be a hotcake because of personally identifiable information that sector actually deal with a lot. So what I would say is, I think your closest route into cybersecurity is the aspect of data protection. And it's data protection. So if you are interested, that is one area you can explore, and that can get you into. And Michael, so there are technical areas like the one Michael that is on the Michael certifications here, CDPSE by ISACA, is a technical area as an engineer. But there are other areas that are not technical. If you want to start from there, and since you have a science background, I believe that you have the technical background already. You can do either GDPR or let's say the NDPA, the one that we are familiar with in Nigeria, or you can go to CIPP, which is also a privacy certification exam that they provide you a leg in the door no matter your background. All right. I think the last question again is cybersecurity is essential in what today before entering into a contract with the supplier privacy. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, that was just a commendation to Michael. Michael, I want to thank you and I appreciate your time. Your stories are quite inspiring, and I believe that everyone gotten something. They have a push to go for the next. And again, you just have to think about how you want to break free. The path to standing out is not very attractive to everybody. But you that want to stand out, you have to do what people are not doing. Let me use local balance. If you want to see waiting other never see before, if you want to do it other never do before, you will see other will never see before. So if you want to create a path for yourself, you have to find a way to separate yourself from people and do what is. And I like the challenge that Michael recommends is go out there, ask people for opportunity. I have this. Tell them what you have, and ask them what they have that you can fit in. And I believe that one of those doors. You don't need 10 doors to open. It's just one door. Once one door opens, that can be your gateway into the next and the next and the next. Michael, thank you so much for
having
for honor, and thank you for sharing your story. I wish you well.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Closing all our conversation today. Thanks, Michael, for giving us a good presentation. Yeah, the next thing is, okay, we've done this. So we have successfully completed for July 27th. Our next edition, this one also is a consultant, a very senior consultant in the industry, and she will be joining us for the next edition on August 10th. After I leave this call, I will be sending my another opening of the conversation and the topic, agree on the topic and everything to be able to put out the ad by this week or by next week. So it promises to be an interesting journey for this opportunity. So I think it's an opportunity for people to learn. If you are interested, the cybersecurity scribe, the cybersecurity researcher, and also volunteering to be one of the people that will help us collate sought after cybersecurity skills for the second edition. All right, we've come to the end of today's edition, and I'm looking forward to seeing you for the next edition. I encourage you to share this with your friends, people of like minds that are looking for a way into the profession, and I also encourage you to join professional association and take the risk. Put yourself out there, and don't be shy to volunteer, and don't be shy to say, oh, I need help in this area. The platform on LinkedIn is there for everyone, for you to reach out to anybody and just to ask them if you can learn from them. And trust me, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Once the door opens, your stories will change. Thanks everyone for joining, and I'm wishing you all the best. I will see you again in our next edition, which is August 10th. Till then, all the best and God bless you. Bye for now.